afternoon, everybody. I'd ask that you please take your seats so we can start the proceedings.
Rabbi Green, Rabbi at the Jerusalem Synagogue. Tell me a little bit about today.
It's a sad day and a difficult day, but a necessary one in order to remember those who perished in the Holocaust. The ultimate sin is the sin of forgetfulness.
A comment on the event here today?
Yeah, what's your position?
Well, I think it's very important that we remember the Holocaust, that we commemorate the sacrifice that was made and continues to be made by
significant incidents of homophobia within our communities. And all of these things require us to show leadership and a respect for human rights and a respect for the traditions that we've tried to foster in this province, including this very important ceremony that we're holding today. So as we go forward, I say to you as a government, we will look at measures that increase the amount of respect and tolerance and understanding we have of the history of tragedies and holocausts around the world, and we will do it together. We'll do it in our schools as well with legislation such as anti-bullying legislation. So with respect to the proclamation, it reads as follows, and I must say the font size seems to be shrinking a little bit this year. Whereas the Holocaust refers to a specific event in history, namely the deliberate and planned state-sponsored persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by the Nazis and their collaborators between 1933 and 1945. And whereas 6 million Jewish men, women, and children perished under this policy of hatred and genocide, and whereas millions more were brought to death for their physical or mental disabilities, race, religion, or sexual orientation, and whereas Canada, alongside other allies nations, took part in a prolonged armed struggle, costly in human life and human suffering, to defeat the Nazi regime and its collaborators, and whereas World War II took the lives of many Manitobans and affected the lives of all, especially those whose loved ones fought to liberate Europe, and whereas the Yom Hashoah, or the Holocaust Remembrance Day, falls on 27th Nisan of the Hebrew calendar, or Monday, April 8th, 2013, and is a day to remember, honor, and commemorate the victims of genocide, and to reaffirm our commitment to uphold human rights and foster tolerance. And whereas May 8th, 2013 marks the anniversary of VE Day and the fall of Auschwitz, and whereas the Holocaust Memorial Day and VE Day provide opportunities to show our respect for all victims of Nazi persecution and those who valiantly fought against it, and whereas we must learn from history and not be condemned to repeat the atrocities of the past, and whereas this day reminds us of the necessity for perpetual vigilance to avoid such atrocities in the future, and to rededicate ourselves to promoting and protecting equal rights to all people everywhere in the world, now therefore, let it be known that I, Greg Selinger, Premier of Manitoba, do hereby proclaim April 8, 2013, as determined by the Hebrew calendar, as Holocaust Memorial Day, Yom Hashoah, and commend the thoughtful observance of this day to all Manitobans. Thank you.
Rabbi Green, Rabbi at the Jerusalem Synagogue. Tell me a little bit about today.
It's a sad day and a difficult day, but a necessary one in order to remember those who perished in the Holocaust. The ultimate sin is the sin of forgetfulness.